The gunshot wound bleeds through his white shirt, dark and spreading. Rain hammers the windshield. The driver's knuckles are white on the steering wheel. In the passenger seat, the man presses one hand hard against his side where the bullet grazed him. His jaws tight. His breathing is controlled. He doesn't make a sound. "Boss, we need a hospital," the driver says, voice shaking. "No hospital," the man says through clenched teeth. His Korean accent is sharp, precise even now. The clinic, on the corner. Ahead, a blue neon cross flickers above a small 24-hour neighborhood clinic squeezed between a bar and a laundromat. The car screeches to a stop. The driver and another man haul their boss out, dragging him toward the door. Inside, Emmanuela is cleaning instruments. She's tired. Her eyes burn from staring at Korean medical texts all evening. Her white coat hangs loose over navy scrubs. Her braids are pulled back in a low ponytail. She's counting the hours until her shift ends. The door slams open. She spins around. Two men in black burst through, half carrying, half dragging a third man between them. Blood drips onto the clinic floor in fat drops. The injured man's expensive suit is soaked dark on one side. The nurse at the front desk gasps. "Yeah, what is—" "Gunshot," one of the men barks in Korean. "We need help, now." Emmanuela is already moving. Her exhaustion vanishes. Training kicks in. "Room 2, she says in Korean, pointing. "Put him on the bed." They obey without question. Something in her voice leaves no room for argument. The injured man walks under his own power until his knees buckle. He collapses onto the exam bed. He doesn't cry out. He just presses his hand tighter against the wound and breathes carefully through his nose. Emmanuela snaps on gloves. "Move," she tells the two men in black, "unless you want to hold instruments." One opens his mouth to protest. "Out," she says flatly. "Or I walk away and he bleeds here." They exchange glances. Then they step back into the hallway. She leans over the man. His eyes are closed. His face is all sharp lines. High cheekbones, strong jaw, straight nose. Even bleeding and pale, he looks expensive. "Can you hear me?" she asks in English out of habit. His eyes open, dark, intense, focused on her face with unsettling clarity. "Yes," he answers in Korean, then switches to careful English. "I hear you." His voice is low, controlled. Completely wrong for someone with a bullet wound. She cuts away his jacket and shirt with scissors. The wound is a graze along his ribs, messy, bleeding, but not fatal if treated now. "You're lucky," she mutters. "Some would disagree," he replies. She almost laughs despite herself. She cleans the wound with steady hands. He doesn't flinch when she irrigates it with saline. Doesn't make a sound when she injects local anesthetic around the edges. Just watches her face like he's memorizing it. "You've done this before," she says while threading the suturing needle. "Been shot?" he asks. "Stayed quiet while someone fixes you," she clarifies. "Pain is information," he says. "Screaming wastes energy." She glances at his face. His eyes are still on her, calm and assessing. "Who are you?" she asks while placing the first stitch. "Does it matter?" he replies. "If you die on my table, yes," she says. "Paperwork is a nightmare." The corner of his mouth lifts. Almost a smile. She works in silence. Clean, precise stitches. The older nurse hovers in the doorway, hands shaking. The two men in black watch from the hall like statues. When she finishes, she tapes a thick dressing over the wound and wraps his torso with gauze. "You'll live," she says, pulling off her gloves. "But if you rip these stitches doing something stupid, I will not fix you twice. I hate repeating work." He looks down at her hands, then back at her face. "You're not the doctor." "No," she says. "I'm the medical student who does more than most doctors at this hour." He studies her, really looks at her, like he's cataloging details. "Name?" he asks. She raises an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" "Your name," he repeats. "I like to know who keeps me out of the morgue." She hesitates. Giving her name feels dangerous. but refusing feels petty. Emmanuela, she says finally. He repeats it carefully, testing each syllable. Emmanuela. He nods once. Thank you. You should go to a real hospital, she says. Get imaging. Make sure there's no internal bleeding. We can't, the driver says from the doorway. You can, she replies. You just don't want to answer questions. The injured man shakes his head slowly. Questions lead to complications. Emmanuela shrugs. So do untreated bullet wounds. Your choice. He reaches into his jacket, slowly so she doesn't panic, and pulls out a thick envelope. Cash. A lot of it. He drops it on the tray beside her. For your trouble, he says. She stares at the envelope. It's heavy. Probably more than she makes in a month. Maybe 2. Her brain screams at her to take it. Her mother's hospital bills, her rent, her brother's school fees. She picks it up, weighs it, then drops it back on his chest. No, she says. We charge a standard fee. I'm not your private surgeon. The room goes silent. The driver stares at her like she just insulted a king. The other man's hand moves toward his jacket where something metal probably waits. The injured man just looks surprised. Most people don't refuse money, he says quietly. I'm not most people, she replies, and I don't want to know what you do to earn that much cash in an envelope. Their eyes lock. Something shifts in his expression. Curiosity, maybe. Or respect. Rest here for 30 minutes, she says, stepping back. Then go. If you feel dizzy, short of breath, or the pain gets worse, you find a hospital, or you die. Your call. She walks out before he can respond. In the hallway, she leans against the wall and breathes. Her hands shake now that the adrenaline is fading. The nurse appears beside her. Do you know who that is? She whispers in Korean. No, Emmanuela says. And I don't want to. That is Kang Jae, the nurse says, eyes wide. Everyone knows that name. I don't, Emmanuela replies. You should, the nurse says. He is very dangerous. Emmanuela looks back at the closed door. He bleeds like everyone else. But her hands still shake. If you want to know how a Nigerian medical student ends up pregnant with a Korean Mafia boss's quadruplets, and why no one believes their impossible love story, hit subscribe right now, smash that like button, and comment, I believe in miracles, so this wild story can reach more people. Now let's see how this really begins. 3 days later, he finds her again. Emmanuela walks out of the clinic at dawn, backpack heavy on her shoulders. The streets are mostly empty. A few early risers shuffle toward bus stops. The air smells like rain and fried food from a nearby cart. She's halfway down the alley when a black car rolls up beside her. The window lowers. Kang Jae sits inside, looking completely healed. His suit is perfect. No sign of injury except maybe a slight stiffness when he moves. Emmanuela, he says. She stops walking. You remember? Get in, he says. She laughs once, sharp. No. Please, he adds, like the word is unfamiliar. Still no, she says. I don't get into cars with men whose bodyguards carry guns. Smart, he says. But if I wanted to hurt you, I wouldn't ask politely first. Maybe you like the chase, she replies. He almost smiles. Maybe, but right now, I need to talk to you. And you're standing alone on an empty street at 6 a.m. That's not safe. Seoul is safe, she says. Not for you, he replies. Not anymore. Something in his tone makes her pause. He's not threatening. He's warning. She pulls the door open and slides in. The interior smells like leather and expensive cologne. The door closes and the world outside becomes muffled. He gestures at the seatbelt. She clicks it into place. You always invite random women into your car? Only the ones who refuse my money and tell my men to leave, he says. Then you should stop getting shot, she replies. He makes a soft sound that might be a laugh. The car starts moving. Smooth. Silent. Where are we going? She asks, alert. Somewhere public, he says. You can relax. I don't relax with gangsters, she says flatly. Good instinct, he answers. They end up at a coffee shop just opening for the morning. Inside, it's bright and normal. Students setting up laptops, office workers ordering takeout. They sit at a corner table. His two men take a table near the door, watching everything. Emmanuela wraps her hands around a paper cup of tea. The warmth helps. So, she says, you brought me here for coffee? For truth, he says. She waits. He leans back slightly. I had you researched. Her stomach tightens. Excuse me? Your name, your school, your scholarship, the hospital bills you're paying in Lagos, the night shifts you work to cover your visa fees and send money home. Her blood goes cold. You had no right. Maybe not, he says, but I have power. Power looks into things, especially when someone unusual crosses my path. I'm just a student, she says. A student who refused money from a man bleeding in front of her, he replies. That's not usual. He sips his coffee. Tell me about the debt. No, she says. Then listen, he says. Because whether you like it or not, your problem just became mine. He pulls a thin folder from his jacket and slides it across the table. Her name is on the tab. She stares at it, but doesn't touch it. The men who came to your clinic 2 days ago, he says. They work for a small boss named Park. He bought your father's old debt, and now he thinks you owe him. My father is dead, she says, voice tight. Debt doesn't die, he replies. It transfers. According to their records, your father borrowed money years ago for your mother's surgery. Interest piled up. When he died, they moved the balance to you as next of kin. Her chest feels tight. He never told me. Parents rarely do, J1 says. They think they're protecting you. How much? She asks quietly. Enough that paying on a student's salary would take decades, he says. But men like Park don't want payment plans. They want leverage. A foreign medical student with visa issues and no protection? Very useful. Her hands clench around the cup. And you care why? She demands. He watches her carefully. Because Park operates on my territory without permission, and because I don't like people touching things I've decided are mine to protect. She stiffens. I'm not yours. I didn't say you belong to me, he replies evenly. I said I protect you. Different. Sounds the same, she mutters. When someone tries to own you, he says, you'll know the difference. She looks at him properly. At the sharp suit, the expensive watch, the way his men move when he shifts. She thinks of the gunshot wound 3 days ago. Who are you really? She asks. He considers his answer. I'm the man your church prays against on Sundays, he says. The reason your clinic sees knife wounds at 3 a.m. The shadow behind those corporate buildings you pass every day. A mafia boss. Of course. She almost laughs. My life was already complicated. He sets his cup down. I'm not here to make it easier. I'm here to tell you the truth. Those men won't stop. They think you're unprotected, an easy target. So what do you want? She asks. I want to make them wrong, he says. Let me buy the debt. Transfer it to my name. Then anyone who touches you is touching me, and people don't do that lightly. In exchange for what? She asks warily. Your skills, he says. Not your body. Your medical knowledge. I need someone who can handle emergencies quietly. Someone smart, quick, not easily rattled. You work for me part-time. Treat my people when they need it. In return, your debt disappears, and your family stays safe. She laughs bitterly. You want me to be your mafia doctor? Private medical consultant, he corrects. I want to finish school, she says. Become a real surgeon in a real hospital. You will, he says, if you stay alive long enough. He pushes the folder closer. She opens it slowly. Photographs. Her apartment building. Her walking to the bus. A screenshot of her little brother's Facebook page. Her mother's shop in Lagos. Her hands start to shake. They've been watching, he says softly. Planning when to move. She closes the folder. Her voice comes out small. You scare me. Good, he says. Fear keeps you smart. What if I say no? She asks. He shrugs. I'll have my men watch you when they can. Maybe they save you. Maybe they're busy. I can't promise. And if I say yes? Then anyone who touches you declares war on me, he says simply. And I don't lose wars. She stares at her hands. One condition, she says finally. Already negotiating, he notes. No romantic anything, she says firmly. This is professional. You don't own me. You don't call me your woman. We keep clear boundaries. He nods. Agreed. And I keep my identity, she adds. No fake papers, no disappearing without telling my family. We add security, he says. Not erase your life. She takes a shaky breath. Fine, I'll work for you until the debt is gone. He holds out his hand. She hesitates, then takes it. His grip is warm, firm. A shock runs up her arm. She pulls back quickly. My driver will give you contact numbers, he says. And a card. You call if there's trouble, any time. Do I have a choice? She asks. Always, he says. But sometimes all your choices hurt. Pick the one that lets you breathe longer. She stands to leave. Miss Emmanuela, he says. She turns. Don't ignore my calls, he says quietly. Next time might not have a polite warning. Weeks blur into months. Emmanuela's life splits in two. By day, she's a medical student. Lectures, exams, clinical rotations. Her classmates gossip about K-dramas and boyfriends. She smiles and nods, and doesn't mention the blood she washed off her hands the night before. By night, she rides in black cars to private locations. She stitches knife wounds, sets broken fingers, treats burns and bullet grazes. The men call her Doc with nervous respect. She charges nothing. Her bank account fills anyway through a clean corporate entity that lists her as a medical consultant. Her debt in Lagos quietly zeroes out. Her landlord stops charging late fees. Her brother gets a new laptop from an anonymous donor. She knows who arranges it all. Jae is everywhere and nowhere. Sometimes he's the patient on her table. More often he stands in the corner, watching her work with that unreadable expression. He never crosses lines, never touches her without medical reason, never makes inappropriate comments. But he's always there, opening doors before she reaches them, having her favorite Nigerian biscuits stocked in his penthouse medical room, texting her one word on exam days, eat. She saves his number as boss problem. The problem escalates on a rainy Tuesday. She's leaving campus, phone pressed to her ear. Her mother's voice fills the line. You sound tired, Emmanuela. Mama says in that way only Nigerian mothers can, making it both observation and accusation. I'm fine, Mama, she replies in English. You are working too hard. God did not bring you this far to collapse. I won't collapse, Emmanuela promises. They talk about home, her brother's robotics project, the new pastor at church. Emmanuela doesn't mention the gangster she stitched last night. Mama doesn't mention the mysterious donor who paid the last hospital bill. They end with prayers. Emmanuela turns toward the subway. A van door slides open ahead. 3 men pour out, blocking the path. Her stomach drops. She recognizes one. Same thugs from the clinic. Park's men. Doctor, one calls in broken English. We need checkup. I'm off duty, she says, backing up. They spread out, cutting off escape routes. Your new boss thinks he owns you, another says in Korean. But debt remembers who paid first. These aren't Jae-won's men. They're the ones he warned her about. Her hand slips into her pocket, finds her phone. She taps the panic sequence, 3 quick clicks. Emergency signal sent. Come with us, one says, stepping closer. Just small talk, no problem. He reaches for her arm. She drops her backpack and moves. Elbow to his ribs, just like the self-defense videos taught her. He grunts and stumbles. Then a hand grabs her hair from behind. She cries out. At that exact second, an engine hum cuts through the street. A black car appears. No screeching, just smooth, inevitable arrival. The door opens before it fully stops. Jae-won steps out in a dark coat. His face is calm. Too calm. "Let her go," he says quietly. The hand in her hair freezes. His two bodyguards flank him, hands inside jackets. "We're just talking," one thug says nervously. "Your talking leaves marks," Jae-won replies, eyes on Emmanuela's face, on the red where her scalp was yanked. Something cold passes over his expression. "Last chance," he says. "Walk away. Tell Park his territory ends here." "Park said she's fair game," the leader argues. "Park is wrong," Jae-won says simply. One thug spits near Emmanuela's feet. "Foreign bitch thinks—" He doesn't finish. Jae-won's man moves like lightning. One punch. The thug drops, gasping. Message delivered. The others scramble backward and run. Silence drops heavy. Emmanuela's breathing is ragged. Her scalp throbs. Her hands shake. "Get in," Jae-won says. She wants to argue. Her pride screams to refuse. But her legs are shaking. Her vision swims. Adrenaline crashes hard. She gets in the car. The door closes. The city stays outside. For a minute, they just breathe. "You use the panic signal," he says. "Yes." "Good, you're learning." She presses her palm against her forehead. "They grabbed me like I was nothing." "You're not nothing," he says. His voice is quiet, but steel runs underneath. He reaches toward her face, then stops. "May I?" She nods. His fingers gently check her scalp where the hair was pulled. His touch is careful, clinical. "Bruising," he says. "No bleeding. You'll be sore." "I figured," she mutters. He pulls back. "They won't come again." "How can you be sure?" "Because I'm going to visit Park," he says, "and make things very clear." Her chest tightens. "Don't start a war over me." "The war started when they touched you," he replies. "I'm just finishing it." "I'm not worth that," she says quietly. He looks at her. Really looks. "Let me decide what you're worth," he says. The car pulls into his building's underground parking. "Why are we here?" she asks. "Because you can't go home tonight," he says. "Not until I know Park's next move. I can handle myself." He gives her a look. "You couldn't handle 3 drunk idiots. You think you can handle a syndicate?" She glares, but has no answer. "One night," he says. "Guest suite, safe, then we reassess." "How many nights when you say 1?" she asks. "We'll see." The guest suite is bigger than her entire apartment. She stands in the doorway, staring at the bed that could fit 4 people, the bathroom with a tub that looks like a small pool, the window overlooking the glittering city. "This isn't a guest room," she says. "This is a hotel." He leans in the doorway, hands in pockets. "I don't use it often." "That doesn't make me feel better." "You're safe here," he says. "I'm in a gangster's penthouse," she replies. "Safe is relative. Trust me. I barely know you." "You know enough," he says. "One night, Emmanuela. Then we decide next steps." He leaves. She locks the door, sits on the bed, stares at her hands still shaking. One night becomes 2, then 5, then a week. The lockdown becomes official when a sniper's bullet cracks the window near Jae-won's office. The glass spiderwebs. Emmanuela hits the floor. Jae-won pulls her behind the desk, body shielding hers. His men flood in, weapons drawn, shouting in Korean. Later, after the glass is replaced, he sits on his desk, looking grim. "You can't go back to your apartment," he says. "For how long?" she asks. "Until I find who wants me dead enough to shoot through bulletproof glass." "You're overreacting." "You were almost killed," he snaps, then controls himself. "This isn't overreaction." She stares at him, at the muscle jumping in his jaw, the white knuckle grip on his desk edge. He was scared. For her. "Where do I stay?" she asks quietly. "Here, in this penthouse, with security, until it's safe." "How long?" "A month, maybe more." Her life paused, controlled, but alive. "Fine," she whispers. 1 month. The month changes everything. It starts with distance, separate rooms, carefully avoiding each other in shared spaces. But proximity erodes walls. She discovers he can't cook anything beyond instant ramyeon. He discovers she mutters prayers in Yoruba when stressed. He finds her asleep over her anatomy textbook and drapes a blanket over her shoulders. She finds him awake at 3 a.m., staring at the city with whiskey he hasn't touched. She brings him tea. "You'll die before 40 drinking that," she says, taking the whiskey glass. "I'll die before 40 living like this," he answers. She sits. "Then why do you?" "Because someone has to," he says. "Better me than someone who doesn't care where bullets land." She studies his profile. "Do you want a family? Kids?" He stiffens. "Why? You text me to eat, to sleep, like a worried father." He looks at the skyline. Wanting and having are different things. "What does that mean?" He hesitates. "My body isn't ideal for that. Old injuries, surgeries. Doctors say natural conception is nearly impossible." Her chest tightens. "I'm sorry." He shrugs. "My father says it's a blessing. Men like us shouldn't have children. We pass on too much darkness." "Maybe he's wrong," she says softly. "Maybe you'd pass on strength, protection." He looks at her. Something vulnerable flickers in his eyes. "Or maybe I'd just make targets," he says quietly. Later, when thunder shakes the windows, she knocks on his door. He opens it in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Hair unstyled. Human. "I can't sleep," she says. He steps aside. She lies on one side of his bed. He lies on the other. Miles of space between them. "You're breathing too fast," he says in the dark. "Your walls got shot," she replies. "Fair point." Silence. Then he talks. About his childhood. The violence he witnessed. The first time he killed someone to save someone else. She talks about Lagos, her father's death, the scholarship that saved her. They fall asleep mid-sentence. The next night, she doesn't ask permission. They share the bed like it's normal. One night, thunder crashes so loud the windows rattle. She jerks awake with a gasp. "Just thunder," he murmurs, hand on her shoulder. "I know. Come here." He pulls her closer. Her head ends up on his chest. His arm wraps around her. She can hear his heartbeat. Steady. Real. "You're shaking," he says. "You're warm," she replies. His hand moves slowly up and down her back. She tilts her head. Their eyes meet in the dim light. "This is dangerous," he whispers. "I know," she says. Neither moves away. Their lips meet. Soft at first. Testing. Then everything ignites. By morning the lines are gone. They don't talk about it, don't label it. But now there are new rhythms. His hand finding hers in hallways. Her stealing his shirts. Him watching her stomach sometimes with longing he thinks she doesn't notice. They don't discuss birth control. He assumes his medical history makes pregnancy impossible. She assumes stress and bad timing will prevent it. Life laughs at assumptions. The nausea starts subtle. Emmanuela throws up between lectures. Once, twice, 5 times in a week. Food poisoning, she tells herself. But her period is late. Her hands shake as she buys a pregnancy test at a convenience store far from campus. 3 tests, all positive. She stands in the bathroom, staring at 3 pink lines, and her brain goes white with panic. At the hospital where she's rotating, a professor offers her as a volunteer for an ultrasound demonstration. "Just routine," he says. "Good learning experience." She lies on the table, lifts her shirt. The gel is cold. The tech moves the wand across her abdomen, then freezes. The professor leans in, frowns. "Miss Emmanuela," he says carefully. "Perhaps you should look." He turns the screen, black and white static. 4 distinct shapes, 4 tiny flickers. Her world stops. 1, 2, 3, 4, she whispers. Her hand flies to her mouth. She doesn't wait for explanations. She grabs her things and runs. She ends up at Jaewon's office. The door flies open. He looks up from papers. "Emmanuela," She throws a folded printout onto his desk. Her hands shake so hard the paper rustles. "What is this?" he asks. "An ultrasound, from 20 minutes ago." He unfolds it slowly, sees the grainy image, the shapes, the measurements. "Is this me?" she says, voice high. "My stomach, right now." He stands slowly. "Emmanuela, what am I looking at?" She points with a shaking finger. "Gestational sacs, 1, 2, 3, 4, count them." He stares, his face goes pale. "You're pregnant." "Clearly." "With 4. "Yes, J1, 4 quadruplets." "Do you know the odds? Because I just learned them and they're astronomical." He grips the desk edge. "How? Do I need to explain biology?" She snaps. "I mean with me," he says quietly. "The doctors said that you couldn't," she finishes. "That it was impossible. That you were cursed or broken or whatever dramatic thing you believed." "Yes." "Well," she says, tears streaming. "Someone forgot to tell them." She collapses into a chair. He comes around the desk, kneels in front of her. "Breathe," he says. "I can't be a mother. I'm still in school. I can't even keep plants alive." "Breathe," he repeats. She takes a shuddering breath. He looks at the ultrasound again, at the 4 tiny shapes. "I didn't think this could happen," he whispers. "Me neither." "What do you want to do?" he asks. She laughs bitterly. "I don't know. Finish school, stop throwing up, not carry 4 babies in my body. But here we are." He nods slowly. "We see a specialist," he says. "Make sure they're healthy, real, not just shadows on bad equipment. And if they're real, then we decide," he says. "Together." The specialist confirms it. 4 heartbeats, all measuring correctly. "High risk," the doctor says. "For you and the babies, but manageable with care." J1 sits beside the exam table, holding Emmanuela's hand so tightly his knuckles are white. "What are the chances?" he asks. "Of all 4 surviving? With proper care, good," the doctor says. "But she will need rest, monitoring, less stress." They both almost laugh at that. Outside the hospital, cameras flash. Someone leaked it. By evening, articles flood the internet. Mysterious woman seen with Kang Jae at fertility clinic. Comments explode with speculation, racism, and cruelty. His father summons him. "You've embarrassed this family," the old man says coldly. "I've started one," Jae replies. "With a foreign woman you barely know, carrying children that may not even be yours?" Jae jaw tightens. "They're mine." "You said that was impossible." "So did the doctors. They were wrong." His father leans forward. "Make this go away, quietly. Pay her off. Send her home. Move on." "No. This will destroy everything we built." "Then rebuild," Jae says. "Without me." He walks out. The press conference is his idea. Emmanuela watches from a private room as he walks to the podium. "Yes," he tells the cameras. "I am in a relationship. Yes, she is pregnant. Yes, the children are mine. All 4. Chaos erupts. "Who is she? Is this real? Why should we believe you?" He looks directly into the camera. "Because I'm telling you, and anyone who touches her or speaks ill of her answers to me." Her phone buzzes. A text from him. "Will you marry me?" She stares at it. Then types back, "You proposed by text during a press conference?" His reply, "Had to beat the tabloids." She laughs through tears. "Fine, yes, but if I vomit at the wedding, it's your fault." His answer, "Deal." The pregnancy is brutal. Bed rest, constant monitoring. Her body swells, her back aches. She throws up daily. Jae becomes a one-man medical team. He reads about multiples. He quizzes doctors. He attends prenatal classes where his suit and bodyguards make everyone uncomfortable. He massages her swollen feet every night. "You don't have to," she says. "I want to," he replies. Threats continue. Poisoned food. Sabotaged stares. Each time her medical training or his security catches it first. At 34 weeks, the doctor says, "Time." The C-section is scheduled. The night before, Emmanuela lies awake in the hospital. "I'm scared," she whispers. He sits beside her bed. So am I. You're never scared. I was never about to watch 4 lives pulled from someone I love, he says. She catches her breath. You love me? Obviously, he says quietly. It took me too long to say it. What if something happens? He presses his forehead to her hand. Then we survive together. Or not at all. Morning comes too fast. She's wheeled toward surgery. He walks beside her in surgical scrubs, looking ridiculous and vulnerable. In the hallway, his right-hand man appears. Boss, there's movement. Park's men near the hospital. Handle it, Jae-won says without looking away from her. We need you. I said handle it. My place is here. In the OR, bright lights blind her. The anesthesiologist explains the epidural. The curtain goes up across her chest. She can't see, can't feel below her waist. Panic rises. Look at me, Jae-won says, sitting at her head. Only his eyes are visible above the mask. I can't breathe, she gasps. Yes, you can. With me. In, out. He counts their breaths. She grips his hand hard enough to hurt. First baby, the surgeon announces. A thin wail pierces the air. Emmanuela sobs. 1, Jae-won whispers. That's 1. Then another cry, then another. The 4th takes longer. Heart rate dropping, someone says. What's wrong? Emmanuela demands. Jae-won's eyes close. His lips move. He's praying. A tiny cry, weak but real. All 4 stable, the surgeon says. Jae-won's shoulders shake. Tears stream down his face. You did it, he chokes out. We did it, she corrects. They bring the babies one by one. Tiny, beautiful, mixed Nigerian and Korean features, skin tones between hers and his, downy black hair, perfect miniature faces. She cries. He cries. The nurses pretend not to notice. Later, in recovery, 2 babies rest on her chest. 2 more in bassinets beside her. Jae-won sits on the bed edge, looking shattered and reborn. 4 heartbeats, he says in wonder. They said I couldn't. They were wrong, she says. He reaches out. A tiny hand wraps around his finger. No one believes this story, she says softly. A Nigerian student and a Korean gangster. Quadruplets in 1 month. It sounds fake. Let them doubt, he says. The less they believe, the safer we are. She smiles weakly. Always strategizing. Always, he agrees. But this time, I'm strategizing how to change diapers without waking the others. She laughs. Outside, the sun rises over Seoul. Inside, 4 impossible babies sleep. Months pass. The babies grow. Chaos reigns. Diapers, bottles, sleepless nights. Emmanuela returns to school part-time. Jae-won learns to function on 2 hours of sleep. One evening, they stand on the penthouse balcony. The city glows below. Inside, all 4 babies sleep at once. A miracle. Do you regret it? She asks. Choosing us. He looks at her like she asked if he regrets breathing. Never. Do you? She thinks about the exhaustion, the fear, the joy. At 3 a.m. when all 4 scream maybe, she says. But no, not you, not them, not this. He exhales in relief. We're stuck with each other, he says. Insufferable man, she mutters. Insatiable, you meant, he counters. She snorts. Don't remind me. That's how we got 4 babies. He grins. She leans into him. They'll grow up hearing people say, we're impossible. We'll show them the truth, he says. Every single day. And when they ask how it started, I'll say it started with a stupid man bleeding in a clinic and a stubborn Nigerian woman who refused his money. She smiles. And the ending? There is no ending, he says. Just more chapters. Noisy, messy, beautiful chapters. Inside, 1 baby cries. Then another. Then all 4. They look at each other. Your turn, she says. I did the last feeding, he protests. You got me pregnant with 4, she counters. You're doing this one. He kisses her forehead. Deal. He heads inside. She follows. Seoul glows around them. Their impossible family fills the penthouse with noise and life. If this story moved you, if you stayed to watch a Nigerian medical student and a Korean mafia boss fight for 4 impossible babies against a world that didn't believe in them, do these 3 things right now. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and comment, "I believe in impossible love." Your support keeps these emotional stories coming. Thank you for being here until the end. See you in the next story.